Good afternoon to everybody. Let us take a radical view on the food system. Using this digital twin you see now, I don't actually need any food. But this is clearly too radical to promote total end of hunger by replacing all you humans with AIs. For humans, food seems to be mandatory, also in the future. As a futurist, I base my thinking on what seems realistic in the near future, before newborns become adults. I talk about electricity costing 1 cent per kilowatt hour, produced by flying windmills or solar panels with double the efficiency we have today. I talk about robots replacing master chefs and synthetic meat. My work is to create a holistic view how radical new technologies may revolutionize value networks, what impacts that might have locally or globally. Some of my views may seem surprisingly radical, but they are grounded in theory and promising experiments. We start now from the easiest and least disruptive corner. Robots are becoming agile and smart enough to cultivate grapes, gather berries, plow, plant, fertilize and harvest. They are becoming cheap too. With machine vision, robots recognize weeds and pull them out or shoot them and pests with a laser. We no longer need to spray pesticides all over. New processes are integrated. A yearly farming cycle has already been fully automated for barley. Farming with no human hands. This changes farming but does not impact the whole food system. Let's look at more radical changes. We need food. But do we actually need agriculture in the form of fields and arable land? My answer in the long run is negative. Let's do a crude theoretical calculation. If you optimize plants and LEDs using only frequencies and intensity each plant can fully utilize, over 10% of the emitted light can be turned into energy in the form of edible plants. Let us assume our future LEDs convert 50% into correct frequencies that fall on the leaves. Then each kilowatt hour of energy gives us 50 watt hours worth of food. That is enough for 30 minutes. 50 times more is required for daily human consumption. If electricity cost is 1 cent per kilowatt hour, as I assumed, this would mean 50 cents daily per person. This cost requires locally produced electricity and does not include farming equipment or fertilizers, and some nutrients we need to get elsewhere. Another calculation is required for microbial production of proteins from water, minerals and carbon dioxide as main ingredients. Solar Foods invention Solane has a theoretical efficiency of 20% from electricity into balanced set of proteins without using any farm products as intermediaries. This means an energy cost of only 5 cents daily per person using the previous assumptions. In order to understand what this could mean, I calculated some more. Food production for all the world's 8 billion people required solar panels covering less than Italy's agricultural land. In practical terms, if we cover only urban areas with solar panels, we can feed the whole global population with urban farming. All agricultural land could fall back to its natural state. This would be a huge step in solving sustainability crisis. Some other benefits include practically risk-free GMO, closed and efficient circulation of chemicals and water, reducing the risk of diseases or weather. Much also to be said about local production and freshness. Urban farming with electricity produces food continuously, not seasonally. We may get fresh local food daily. If robots help to distribute this production, we can not only get rid of agricultural land, but also industrial food processing, preservatives, and mass distribution. Industrialized food could be replaced by urban farming and robot kitchens. There are already restaurants that grow many of their own materials. Think about robots harvesting your daily ingredients, bringing those to your robot chef who prepares your meal according to your daily specific dietary needs and preferences. Compare this to what too many elderly people and busy families nowadays do, heating packaged food in their microwave ovens. Moley Robotics, whose product you see here, is one of the pioneers. 20 years from now, it is clear that at least in the Western world, robots prepare most of the meals in restaurants. Let us take a step back. Cultivated meat, the so-called lab meat, is becoming ever cheaper and tastier. Researchers have recently imitated the actual structure of beef using 3D bioprinting instead of just imitating the mouthfeel and taste. Plant-based meat imitations are getting better too and more popular. What could be the benefit besides saving the world? Few years ago, I met a Dutch digital artist who talked about cultivated meat. He said, we have enough genes to replicate dodos and mastodon meat. Think about ordering mammoth ribs. His more daring proposal was to talk about Madonna steaks. I'm not certain Madonna would, but surely some celebrities would be happy to contribute a few of their stem cells for a royalty-based deal from Cannibal Lecter Foods. You can say this is crazy, but think how crazy our current practices would have sounded to people just 100 years ago. New possibilities bring new values with them. Unless preservation techniques become much better than they are now, it seems clear that robotization and urban farming favor an increasingly distributed food system. As our food safety is currently based on a centralized system, there will be growing bureaucratic tension. A possible solution comes with AI-based food scanners and crowdsourced warning systems. Using terahertz and near-infrared scanners with selected lab-on-a-chip backups, a relatively secure distributed system can be achieved that meets the need. What seems clear to me is that consumers need to take greater responsibility for what they eat, and they need society to help them with tools that enable proper food security and safety. With emerging technologies, it is possible to map everyone's genome metabolic state and create digital twins of individual humans' metabolism, not only their face. This is not yet achievable except crudely, but will be in the next decades. Our robot chef can then experiment with our digital twin, serving it virtual meals and getting both the metabolic and aesthetic response. When time comes, we then get to eat the physical counterparts of the most successful virtual experiments. Just compare this with the almost random population level recommendations we now have. Individual needs differ greatly, and not only due to allergies or medical conditions. We clearly soon take the next step toward individually analyzed nutritional needs. This all may sound expensive, but imagine how expensive everything we have today would have sounded to people only 100 years ago. In the near future, this all can be gamified. And we grow what we need, eat it freshly prepared, individually designed for our nutritional needs and tastes. And it is produced with no ill effects to the environment, no animals harmed, locally and in urban areas only. I think this is a goal that deserves our best R&D resources. A number of innovations is required before this radical view can be realized.